You caught me sharing it out.
Dude, I was hoping that.
Hey, it's Friday, September the 18th, the year of our Lord 2020. It's the Ken and Glenn Show. We're here. And there's Kimberly Hausman ready to greet us. Good evening, Kimberly.
OMG, love you both. We love you too. Well, I can't speak for Glenn. I love you because I know you, and she is one of the kindest hearted people on the planet, dude.
How do you know Kimberly?
Well, she's in the Grow Live Academy that you spoke to.
Well, but she wasn't born into it. At some point, you met her.
Wow.
I mean, you made it sound like she went straight from the hospital at birth right into the Grow Live Academy.
Yes. She's been in training her entire life.
Oh,
Brian Hess is in here. Andrea Levin Scott. By the way, for anybody, and just a little plug, for anybody that is in the Grow Live Academy, Glenn's 3-hour amazing speech is now in the Grow Live Academy under its own category of coaching calls. And very first one, I didn't record the first week. I forgot.
So I have the first recorded coaching call.
It literally, the very first one says week 2.
I'd be a liar if I didn't say that meant a great deal to me. It does. I'm grateful that we had the time together.
You kidding me, man? That was
that was then and this is now, Ken. Let's not waste too much time talking about how terrific last night was when we can make tonight terrific.
Well, tonight
on this Friday night.
The theme tonight is you can have anything you want in life. That's the theme. And I'm just going to shut up and let you go. So,
hey, I'd like to mention at this time that I am not a drug dealer. Okay? And so a lot of people who watch Bloodline thought that. But I'm not. I'm a hug dealer. That's what I do. I deal hugs. So get ready to receive one when we get on the backside of this nonsense that we're dealing with. Well, it's what was I eating? It's past tense. I was eating a little creamed spinach.
As Popeye would.
Yes, of course.
Come on with it.
Come on with it.
Can you do a Popeye impression?
I can if I keep my sleeve on it. I don't want to pull up my sleeve and reveal the absence of Popeye-ness.
Brian needs that shirt. Where'd you get that shirt, dude?
You know, I have people that give me shirts because they know that I'm really into T-shirts, so they give them to me all the time. And someone who just came up and hugged me once at an event said, "Here, you should have this because you give people hugs all the time." And I went, "That's great." Wow. Yeah.
That's nice. So you don't know who gave it to you?
I don't. I wish I did.
Dude, people are sharing the crap out of this. And so far we've talked about is your food and your T-shirt.
Right. So nothing at this point appears to be shareable, really.
Right.
Hey, random thought. You know what I used to do on Friday nights? And I think maybe you missed the generational cut on this, Ken.
Whoa.
But Friday nights used to be that we would watch Love American Style.
I remember that
as kids. Anybody out there in Ken and Glenn land, does anybody remember Love American Style? Drop a 1 if you remember Love American Style. It was a television show.
Wow. What was it about, man?
It was about love done the American way. It was a series of skits. They usually had like 3 skits each episode of they were separate and they had different actors. They had kind of a troupe of actors they worked with, and they would tell. And I'm still awaiting the first. Oh, Eric Kellen said, "Oh my God, love that show."
Yeah.
Robert Brooker remembers it. Doug
Look
remembers
at all these
it.
old people.
Yes, truer than the red, white, and blue. Love American Style. Yeah, that was the show. I think we should play the theme song.
Yeah.
Or are we going to get flagged for that? Nobody has touched Love American Style in years.
I think once it's 80 years old, you can't get flagged for it. So we're good.
Love American Style. See if you can flag down the theme to that. I heard you once it's 80 years old. I heard you.
You missed it, didn't you? Let's see. Love
American Style. And there was an actor. Here's what's kind of cool that I grew up to become friends with,
Marion Ross,
who was one of their series regulars. And Brian said, "Found it."
I got it right here.
Well, what is he?
Stop.
What on earth is Brian looking up?
I don't know. No, I don't think this could be copyrighted still, right?
I wouldn't think.
Oh, look, he found the T-shirt. Brian, send me that link, dude. I gotta have that. I gotta have one too. Send me the link, bro ham. So, all right, here, let's do this, man. Let's do some Love American Style.
Yeah, so this will activate the memory banks of some of the 50+ club that's out there.
Okay. The Hug Dealer shirt. Yeah, he found it. Dude, you got to send me that link, bro. Hold on, let's do this. Here we go.
Love, love, love. Where'd the volume go, Ken? And you.
Oh,
my love comes to me.
Wait a minute, dude. I made an amateur error.
Yeah, I was prepared to sing along.
I know you were.
Oh, I know what you didn't do.
No, you don't.
I'm gonna warn you, I may sing along. Red, white, and blue. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Love American Style. That's me and you. But on this star-spangled night, my love comes to me. Head on my shoulder, ba, 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 ba. Light, my love. And here we go again, the chorus. American Style. That's me and you. There it is. Can't hear you, baby. You're muted.
I mean, I remember that, but I don't remember ever watching it.
Yeah. That's the most exposure that show has gotten in 20 years. What we just did right there.
There's Serena Buffalino. She was on my show the other day.
Hello, Serena.
Talk about a lady with a heart, man, right there. That woman has one. I remember Hee Haw.
Oh, Doug Wing remembers Hee Haw. That's it. So apparently there are no other memories for Doug. That's it. That's it. Hee Haw.
What about the Waltons?
Oh, yeah. The Waltons. Wholesome Americana.
Yeah.
Is what that show was devoted to.
Big time. John
It'd be
Boy.
nice if shows like that could be a hit anymore. The Andy Griffith Show shows that instilled values in people instead of incited separatist thinking.
Yeah.
So tonight we're talking about having whatever you want, right?
You can have anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you
Benny
think?
Hill.
What do you think it takes, brother?
It takes hey, there's my buddy Paul George. I went to high school with that dude.
Go ahead. We got to take a Green Acres break.
Green Acres
is the place to be.
Farm
living is the life for me. Land
spreading out so far and wide.
Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside. Right?
You can do what's her name?
New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue. That was it.
Oh Oh my God. Holy mother of God. That was awesome. That was freaking.
So we're going to get to, you can have anything you want in life, but allow us to take the path there. You can have anything you want in life, provided you have at least 10 television theme songs memorized. And as long as you can perform 10 theme songs, there's
God.
nothing you can't have. And
Dude.
the reason we know this is true, Ken, is because in order to sing 10 theme songs, you have to be a friggin' idiot. And you have to be unafraid, and you have to not care what other people think.
Have you ever met somebody like super, super, super wealthy, and you're like, I don't think that dude could actually pour piss out of a boot if the instructions was on the heel.
Don't know that I'd have languaged it that way, but yes, I've had that experience.
Language? Is that a word? Sure. I don't know that I
if you language something a certain way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but like, it's because they're like, some people are just too dumb to know any different. And that's what happens is we get too smart. We get too smart and we think we know too much.
And then we can't have anything we
I'm
want.
very grateful that I'm dumb. Because I don't know any better, dude.
So you're a big proponent of ignorance is bliss?
Well, you know, I've hired a lot of salespeople over the years and trained a lot of them and seen a lot of them come and go. And I got to tell you something. There's this thing called, I don't know what it's called, new salesperson-itis. And so they get in, they see a new product, a service, they get all fired up, excited. My God, this is going to save the world. I'm going to go out and save the world with this. I don't even need the training. I love this. This is amazing. And they go out and they're knocking on doors and they're talking to people and they're like, this is changing the world. You got to get it. And everybody loves their enthusiasm. So they buy it. And then like 60 or 90 days later, they are, Brian, by the way, just sent me the t-shirt for, I'm getting a hug dealer t-shirt. Anyway, so and then 60 or 90 days later, they're like, oh, I can't sell anything. Oh, I'm in a slump.
Yeah, they were smitten with their own enthusiasm is what happened.
Yeah, and then they learned everything they could in those 90 days about the product or the service. Excuse me, and then they start failing. They can't close a door, let alone a sale.
Right. Can I tell you that I'm in that modality of the post-meal experience where about 10 minutes after you're done with dinner, you run your tongue across your teeth and get to eat dinner a second time? That's where I am right now.
Well, don't smile. We don't want to all experience it with you.
Hey, this gift is to Robert Brooker, okay? Robert, I love you, dude. This is for you. Ready? Based on his comment. You got to go bring up Robert's comment, and I'm gonna do a little special song for him.
Oh Lord.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the track to the junction. Petticoat Junction. Forget about your cares. It is time to relax at the junction. Petticoat Junction. Lots of girls, you bet. Even more when you get to the junction. Petticoat Junction. There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction. Petticoat Junction. It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction. Petticoat Junction. And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction. There you go.
Really that long?
Well, that's the entrance and the out tune combined as one.
That is you did I got you. I
was just trying to let him know that some of those things look, and there's Uncle Joe.
There's another one right there.
Go ahead. You can sing that one.
No.
Put it up there.
I know.
Let's see if it's accurate.
That doesn't mean we have to sing them all. That's the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, but let's see if the words are accurate.
Look. How many Red Bulls has Glenn had today?
0, Doug. 0. 0. By the way, you're looking at the very reason that I never did drugs or alcohol.
Look,
because I just didn't need it. What's that? Facebook won't recognize the copyright on that one. That'd be funny if you got flagged for singing their damn song.
It's too old, man. The copyright's expired.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a limit. I forget the number of years. Hey, first let me say thank you to everyone who shared this out.
Yes.
We're going to get to a point, I think.
Here's Katya continuing with her loving support of you, Ken. I'm still trying to make Katya's list, but
look.
What?
Happy days.
Happy days.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Thursday, Friday is not after Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday.
Happy days. Friday, Saturday. Da, 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 da. That's all I know.
What about Laverne and Shirley? I mean, you knew some of these actors and actresses.
Yeah, I've worked with some of them.
How about the Fonz? You ever work with him?
I have not done any movies with him, but I've ridden. Actually, he's ridden in my car with me.
Henry Winkler.
Car.
Wow.
He rode in my car in Salt Lake City, and we went to the Salt Lake Comic-Con together. He is the most gracious Comic-Con celebrity I've ever seen. He goes out and walks the line. People are sitting there waiting to meet him.
These days are ours.
Oh, that's Laverne and Shirley, right?
Yeah. No, that's.
What is that? Happy Days?
Happy Days, yeah.
What was the one they're walking down the street? Happy Day with Laverne and Shirley. I don't remember. It's a weird word.
Oh,
Slamassel, something. I'd never really watched the show. Right. Anybody who knows that.
On your mark, get set and go now.
I'm gonna make this offer. Anyone who knows the lyrics to Happy Days and you can't look them up, I'm willing to forego my salary that I make for doing this show tonight. I'm willing to. Everything I would have made tonight goes to you.
I was actually going to say
Schlemazel, something like that.
Hassenbach Incorporated or something. That's Laverne and Shirley, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to say our condolences to Ruth Bader Ginsburg's family, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on. Someone who served our country for a number of years. She was made Supreme Court justice when she was 60 years old.
Wow. And
lived to be 87, and she passed away today. So our condolences to the Ginsburg family. And it's interesting that it occurred. I don't know a lot about Ruth Ginsburg, but I know that Ginsburg is a Jewish name. And so I think if we were to look it up, we would discover that she's Jewish, and she could not have died at a holier time than on Rosh Hashanah, which Lashana Tova to any of you that are of the Jewish faith. This is the beginning of the high holidays between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And so it's a pretty powerful day that she made her exit on.
Yeah, I'd say.
So to the Ginsburg family, our condolences. Are we getting any Laverne and Shirley? Well, we all know Gilligan's Island.
But
the Jeffersons, I know.
Here, let's just do it, man. You ready?
Yeah, which one is this? Oh, Happy Days?
Happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are
I hope this isn't copyrighted.
Starring Glenn Morshower as Richie Cunningham.
There's nothing can hold me when I hold you. You feel so right, you can't be wrong. Rocking and rolling all week long. These days are being free. These days are share them with me. Gonna cruise her around the town. Show everybody what I found. Rock and roll with all my friends. Hoping the music never ends.
Marion Ross.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, what a day. Grooving all week with you. These days are all. Share them with me. These days are all. Happy and free. No sunshine, goodbye rain. She's on the school rain.
Dude, how long is that? I don't remember it being that long.
Oh, the theme song it ran most episode. The theme song ran about 10 minutes, and then the closing song ran 10, and then there was like 4 minutes for the show. I'm pretty sure is
oh, that's funny. So look at
do you remember what Happy Days was basically the sequel to? I'm going to see if anyone remembers this.
Oh.
Does anyone remember?
No.
So it was a follow-up to a film called American Graffiti.
Oh, it was?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm just saying. American Graffiti, which starred some amazing talent, including Ron Howard, including Richard Dreyfuss. Come on with it. There it is. Ben Phillips. Ben said American Graffiti. You're muted again, Ken. American Graffiti and...
Oh, let's see. Tried to type the words. Would you stop? I heard the clap. Well, Glenn's audio appears to be out, so I'm gonna have to.
How did I do for faking silence? Did I do okay?
Good. That was good.
I love to do the fake outs.
Paul says, tried to type the words fast enough before you played the music. He owes me his free salary.
Paul, it's all yours, brother.
Yeah. Checks in the mail.
So let's talk about the ability to have, because well, we haven't sung Gilligan's Island, and I would like everybody to sing that one with us right now.
Well,
at home.
Should I pull it up though?
Yeah, sure.
How do you spell Gilligan's?
Gilligan.
Dude, I am totally kidding, man. Hold on. Oh, stop.
It's Gil with a ligan.
Gil with a illigan. All right, let's see. Here we are. Now, if this is still copyrighted, I quit.
We get an early out if it is.
Yeah. Here we go.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a
tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was mighty sailing man, the skipper brave ashore. 5 passengers that slept day for a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. The ship set ground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle, with Gilligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, and Marianne here on Gilligan's Isle.
So this is the tale of our castaways. They're
Here for a long, long time.
They'll have
To make the best of things, it's an uphill climb. The first mate and his skipper too will do their very best. Make the others comfortable on a tropic island nest. No phone, no light, no motor car, not a single luxury. Robinson Crusoe, it's primitive as can be.
So join us here
With my friends, you sure to get a smile.
from seven
When stranded castaways here on Gilligan's Isle.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
Let's get to the topic.
Let's get
I
to
mean,
the
we've been on 26 minutes.
Well, that's what we're really known for best, Ken,
I know.
is just giving people a chance to
Right.
not care
At
about
all.
what's coming next. Just let it roll.
Let it
Maybe
go.
we'll talk about something meaningful, and there's a really good chance we won't.
Well, I think here let's look back over at them. So
What you think?
Brad Costin, classic, absolutely. Mike says, so funny these older shows had full songs that told the story rather than a 6-second intro.
Mm-hmm. But
Great part.
whisper in my ear here and tell me what's up. Tell me.
What do you mean?
Just
What's
tell
up?
me what we're going to do tonight. Just whisper it over here in my ear.
We
already talked about this.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
okay.
Let
So
it roll, baby. Yes, yes, yes.
what does it take to have anything you want in life? What do you think it takes, Glenn?
I think that it starts with a vision and what I call the EH, which is the estimated havability. And havability is determined by deservedness. That's been my experience, at least. I think that most people don't think of themselves. Oh, hey, Mo. Nice to see you. That's my sweet friend from the UK.
Mo is heading to bed.
So I love these, but timing, boys, timing. That's funny. Yeah, sweet dreams, love. Sweet dreams. I will see.
Might as well just stay up now.
Hey, Mo, let me tell you this now. Just give you a heads up. In the springtime, April, I am coming to the UK again. I haven't been over there in probably 7 or 8 years, but I'm coming back to the UK. And I want to let you know that. And I realize it's, a fairly sizable country, but I'm coming over to Wales. And I would love to see you while I am in Wales. I'm doing something over there at Comic-Con, and they have a really nice convention. This, of course, provided they proceed with it, but it's scheduled right now for April. That'll be fun. I've never been to Wales. I've been close, but this will be exciting.
Do they have whales there?
Near Wales? I don't know. That would be a Mo question. She would know that.
Is that I was wondering what the gender of Mo was.
Yeah, Mo is a female. A lovely friend that I met at one of the Comic-Cons.
Oh,
and
nice.
she was very gracious and walked up with her boyfriend to my table. And we wound up, they spent quite a bit of time at my table. And then when they saw that I had a break, they came and met me. And so when the weekend ended, or during the weekend, actually, when the session ended for the day, we all went out and went to dinner.
Are they from?
Oh, yeah, they're Brits.
So do they have British accents?
Very much so. Yeah, as shocking as that may seem. But listen, as far as having what you want, I think most people, if you could pinpoint why people don't, look, I will see you in Wales. Yeah. So look, yes, and you owe me an Indian meal.
Can you read that in a British accent, though?
April, I will see you in Wales. I owe you an Indian meal. It's nice. It's lovely. It's fantastic. So we'll have a meal in Wales. The Indian food over there is remarkable, by the way.
Is it really?
Oh, goodness gracious. If you ever want great Indian food, just go to London. It's
really
for real. And I know Robert loves his curry. But Robert taught me something this weekend. He taught me that you can't hurry a good curry. He really did. And I didn't know that. He said, you can't rush it. These things take time.
BF was an asshole. I'm Irish. Oh, she's Irish.
Oh gosh, she's wasting no time informing you about her boyfriend. Wow. Ouch. Did you think that at the time or did you discover that later? Ouch. I'm sorry to hear that, Mo. I mean, I know you guys broke up a long time ago. I even remember remember his name. Chicken tikka masala originated in London.
That is my favorite. It's the only Indian dish I've ever had, actually. I love that stuff. With the what do they call that? The bread?
Naan bread.
Naan, yes. Yeah. Wow. So good. Thanks for bringing that up, Ben.
I had a waiter once that came and lit a fire under the bread. And I told him, I said, I guess you can do that because it's non-flammable. He was proving that it was non-flammable.
He'll be here all night.
On, that's good, Ken.
Don't forget to tip your waiter.
Tip your waiter. She's here all night and weekend. If you are near Little Rock, the Star of India is the best. Little Rock, Arkansas?
Wow, Robert is a world traveler.
Why do you know you're a Canadian, Robert? Why do you know Little Rock, Arkansas?
Do you think that maybe he's ventured outside of Canada, eh?
Well, I would think so if he knows about Little Rock. But here's the thing. If it's that good, it wouldn't be outrageous of me to drive to Little Rock for
dinner.
You're
not that far from Little
300
Rock.
miles. 300 miles. But who doesn't drive 600 miles round trip for dinner? You know what I'm saying? So Ken, I'm trying to be serious about answering this question and being respectful. I think that most people, in my view, and with all of the coaching I've done, have issues of deservedness, and they think that great lives are deserved by others, and so they live their lives sitting watching everybody else live the great life that they dream of, but it doesn't occur to them that those people were no more deserving of a great life. They just added some measure of intentionality to it. That's all they did, is they got really intentional about what they wanted to achieve and experience in this ever so brief dance. And I think a lot of people, the brevity of the dance, frankly, I don't think you're going to really achieve greatness until the brevity of the dance fully occurs to you. I really mean that, the brevity of the dance. And that's not to say that it's fear-based. I'm sorry?
Shortness of time. You know,
yeah, so if you're not in touch with that, there will be no urgency to your life. You won't think in terms of you've got a beginning and an end in this form. And what would you like the form to experience? We're not even getting into eternal life and all of that. I'm talking about within this uniquely assigned sack of skin, you most assuredly have a beginning and an end. And when you can objectively step outside of your own body, and this is why I believe, if I can push this a little further, Ken, may I?
Yes.
I think when you step outside of your own body, and this is why people who've had near-death experiences of some sort really tend to walk away dramatically altered for the better and not for the worse. In fact, I don't know anyone who's altered for the worse. If you survive it, I mean, if it destroys your body, if it's something like that, that's different. But if you have a near-death experience and you completely heal from the experience, you will walk away altered for the better because you finally have figured out you're not invincible.
Right.
And invincibility keeps a lot of people from achieving anything. But if you really get clear that we are awarded upon our dying day a 1-inch long line, like it's a horizontal line, it's like this, and it sits between our birth year and our death year, and that line sums up the entirety of our life. Like, here's your life. Here, congratulations, you've earned your 1-inch horizontal line. Right. And none of us have had that line issued to us yet.
Right.
So we're still in the dash. I call it the dash. So we're still in the dash. And if you can get outside of your body and look back at your body and go, hey, what would you like to experience since you're very temporary? What would you like to experience while you're here?
Right.
And then get real clear on that and quit wasting time with things that conflict with that. So I think that people are known to fill their lives with opposition,
right,
to their dreams outpicturing themselves. And so they've got conflict built in from the get-go. So I think we have to address worthiness and deservedness first, because that can be completely immobilizing.
Yep.
So once you've addressed that, then you take a look at the temporariness of life, and you get really motivated to say, life is for the taking. We walk down the cafeteria line that life is, and the dishes that you would like to experience, you put them on your plate. But nobody's going to come over and serve you. You've got to go down the line, and you have to be willing to pay for it. They don't give you the food. I've noticed that as well. When you get to the end of the line, there's a cost. So
Yes.
the cost are the choices we make. And as long as you're willing to make the appropriate choices, then you can absolutely have it. But it all starts with the belief, not even the belief, the certainty that it's havable, and that it's havable by you, not just by someone well-known or someone with a lot of money or whatever it is. Your thoughts? Well,
I was asked to write a chapter in a book. Do you know that makes three books that I've written in that are coming out in the next, one book comes out, From Crappy to Happy, October 6th. And then it's crazy what's happening all at once.
And then you and I were asked to co-author a book today called Get Your Tongue Out of My Mouth Because I'm Kissing You Goodbye. And
oh, that is not what it's called.
Oh, it's not?
No. Okay. But so I was thinking about this as I finished this chapter tonight. I was writing for this other book, and you saw the where I had Grant Cardone on the show on with me the other night, right? Mm-hmm. And he said,
he was on for him.
Huh? You froze up.
I said he was on for a long time.
Yeah.
Can you not hear me?
And we had an internet hiccup there, I think. So I asked Grant, I didn't ask him. I said, well, it's never too late, right? And he goes, I don't know.
Yeah, he said, sometimes I think it'll catch up with you.
He said, it might be too late. He's like, I like speed. I don't like to, and I really have thought a lot about him saying that. And dude, that is a huge problem, because I think that the human ego is the biggest problem. And the human ego is a good thing, and it can be a bad thing. The ego thinks that it's going to live forever, that it's here forever.
Right.
And so what do? We put off learning the skill that we need to learn. We live by excuses. We make up these excuses for why we're not doing better in life. And then we live in these stories. So I literally, what I wrote about in this chapter was, it's those conversations that we're all like people that say, oh, if you talk to yourself, you're crazy. Well, that means everybody on the planet's crazy then, because we all have those internal conversations and dialogues. But when I wrote about this tonight, dude, I was like, look, you're having all these thoughts all the time and all these conversations all the time. And how many of those thoughts are thoughts that you're having because they are actually your thoughts, or they are thoughts that you learn from somebody else? Because the moment we're born into this world, the programming starts.
Right.
Right.
And most of the time they are from society or someone else.
Or someone else, a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, siblings, friends, teachers, preachers, priests, rabbis, nuns, whatever it is. Like, we're given all of this programming. So then we become an adult and we become what we think everybody else thinks we should be, or we're not living our truth. We're a Democrat or a Republican because that's what our mom and dad was. And so that's what we're going to be. Dude, you're going to set off the fire alarm. What are you doing?
No, I'm burning up our script for tonight's show because clearly we're not following it.
I'm sorry. Did I go off script to cause you to want to set off the smoke alarms in your house?
No, I just thought I'd have a little fun. It's going to be really fun if they do go off.
And Carolyn wakes up, comes running up. You're like, shit, I didn't think about the smoke alarms.
Well, I've already put it out, so
that is hilarious, dude.
Hopefully it won't go off just based on that little bitty one. It just occurred to me that we weren't paying any attention to our game plan tonight. Kind of like every week.
What game plan?
There wasn't one. I was playing.
Oh,
the whole moment, me lighting a thing on fire and claiming it was our script. That was just me playing. That's all it was.
Oh my God. So,
but you're right. I totally forgot about my smoke alarm. And isn't it weird that this is one of those times where I really hope it doesn't work? It's terrible. It's terrible. But I did put it out fairly quickly.
The show's yours, dude. I'm out here. Hold on.
You gone? Is this show mine just because of that? Hey, this will afford me an opportunity. Good evening, Roxy. Good evening, Serena. Good evening, Scott Ricard. And good evening, Joan. I just saw that Joan's here with us tonight. Colleen, how are you, sweet? So I want to go back to something that Mo said, my friend from the UK.
Right here?
Or from
that?
Yeah, right. So she mentioned, did you see the comment she made about producers and consumers?
Oh, hold on. Let me see.
Because I'll offer you, she's still smitten with a teaching that I offered years ago.
She met someone else because of the a-hole. Is that the one? The comment?
Everything happens for a reason. Yes.
Ken Mo is for...
There it is. So way up here, it says consumers versus producers, which means she remembers a discussion that we had many years ago. And what she is referencing, just for clarification for anyone who's looking at the comments section, is that the world is indeed divided in between consumers and producers, and their distinguishing trademark or characteristic is that consumers consistently are takers, and they always do less than their share. That's the trademark characteristic of a consumer. Whereas a producer, which by the way had to be birthed in society in order to offset the pain caused by the consumer. Because if you think about it, if everyone underdoes their share, Ken, let me say that one more time. If everyone on the planet underdoes their share,
what's that mean?
We're in trouble. I'm going to explain.
Oh.
So, for example, if you pull up to a light and you're getting ready to get on the freeway, or you're actually looking at one of those special lights that admits you to the freeway, and I know they don't have them all over the country. There's certain states where that's more common, but you're sitting there waiting for the light that lets you accelerate, and you decide that an ideal place for your trash that's in your car is on the on-ramp. So you just roll down your window and throw it out there. So that's someone who's not doing their share, right? They're not doing their share. They're actually putting stuff out there and making their trash someone else's responsibility. And this is, we see this when checks are passed around. If you have a group of, say, 10 people that are going to dinner, maybe it's 5 couples, or there are 5 couples and then 2 people that are single. And so a total of 12 people, and they're handing out the check, they're sending it around. And all of a sudden people start pitching in their share. And you realize that there are invariably people who do less than their share. And it has nothing to do with whether or not they have the money. I've known people like this, and they have the money. They're just not thorough. So I want to add that to our teaching tonight, Ken, is there's a word that is a characteristic of winners and successful people. One of the things they have in common is they are thorough. They say what they mean, and they mean what they say, and they do what they said they would do. They are thorough. They don't half-ass things. If they're going to make a bed, they make it. They don't make it half-ass. They don't throw the cover over and call it made. They're thorough. They don't drive around with no tread on their tires. They're thorough because they care about their loved ones more than they care about the preservation of the money. They look at their tires and they go, these tires are bald and they need to be replaced. Paul's being a little more succinct by saying cheap asses. So, but listen, here's the deal about being a cheap ass. It can be very costly to be a cheap ass. So you tell me what's cheaper, new tires or putting a loved one in a casket. So there are times that we need to evaluate our spending habits and look at where it's an investment. It's not a cost. It's an investment in my future or my family's future, our safety, whatever it is. So the producers are the people who consistently do more than their share. So if you go out with someone who consistently underpays their bill, it's not like you can underpay the bill to the restaurant. You don't have that option. So that option is invariably made up by the people that are always doing more than their share. And for the record of those two prototypical human beings, you are by light years, Ken, a producer, which is what I love about you. That's why we're in this partnership. And I will tell you that if you were a consumer, I would still be nice to you. I would still love you and engage you. I would not be doing a talk show with you. And I would not be in a deep friendship with you.
Hey, ditto.
Yeah. I only have a quality microphone because you taught me how to do that. But no, it's a real distinction between two parties. Forget Democrat and Republican. That's bullshit. That's not a true division. A true division is, are you a consumer or are you a producer?
Amen.
Are you here thinking that it is someone else's job to carry your load for you? Now, if you really are an invalid, or you are having legitimate challenges that are not self-imposed, that you were born with, you get an exemption card. I'm not talking about these people. I'm talking about the people who by choice have chosen to let others carry them. They have chosen to not tote the line. They have chosen to let other people pay their way. And we see this in family systems constantly, where someone has set themselves up to be the one that everybody else is always doing it for them. And I want to tell you, you can't be of that camp and expect to have dreams come true. So one of the great voices from thin air will say to you, are you carrying your own weight? Are you doing that? Or are you leaning heavily upon others to do everything for you? And we talked last night about the importance. Well, I did. I was doing a talk for your group, the importance of self-reliance. And I think this is key. I think everyone owes it to themselves and the world. Let me say that a second time with great emphasis, and the world, to be self-reliant, because then we can take a whole lot of concerns out of our playbook because we're no longer worried about you. We're not worried about you because we know you've got it. You've got it. You're self-reliant. Does that mean you won't have a bad day or a bad week or months? No, it doesn't. We just know that in the matter of life, you are doing your best. You really are. You're giving it your best. And if under those circumstances you have a rough stretch, I got your back. You know that. But we're not supposed to have the backs of people who are simply being lazy. We're not supposed to have those backs, my belief, because I think in doing so, we actually breed a character prototype that is not in the best interest of the world. And this is why enabling becomes so dangerous, because we're actually, in part, we're responsible. We're certainly culpable in the matter.
I think, and that's
sorry to get so long-winded there. I got a little carried away, but I think it was important.
It's a huge, dude, this, what you're talking about is like, it's a huge divide in party lines in politics. And it's a huge on both sides. There, one side's more about, hey, let's give handouts. The other side's like, No, let's not give handouts. Is
You froze up, brother.
Yeah, we're having some internet hiccups. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're back.
Okay.
So
But-
you were saying one side gives handouts, the others doesn't.
Well, one side is more, and again, this is generalities. This is not me throwing stones in any way at anything. I think that if we don't stop giving freaking handouts as a country, and I mean, dude, I went.
Yeah, you froze up again. I wonder what's going on because it's not freezing on my side.
I don't know. You froze up.
Am I freezing as well?
You did a little bit ago, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't played my Frozen game, so it was a legitimate freeze.
By
the way, we have Weldon Whitehurst in the house tonight.
Weldon Whitehurst is in the house.
Samuel Sneed's here with us as well, and Samuel made kind of an abrupt comment here, which I tend to agree with him. He said producers are responsible. The end.
Period. And I think that when we stop giving handouts, I went to Burger King the other day to get a hamburger, and it was busy. I mean, incredibly busy. It was 3 days ago. It was the 15th.
Wait a minute. Do you log every time you go to Burger King?
No,
that was hilarious. You looked and went, let's see, when did I go to Burger King?
I looked at my watch. I remember it was the 15th. Here's why.
Okay.
Here's why. It was really busy, and it was like 3 p.m. I'm like, why is it so freaking busy at 3 p.m. at freaking Burger King? All I wanted was a little hamburger. I was hungry. I needed something to eat. And so I get up to the window and I'm like, finally, wow, you guys are really busy today. And I wasn't mad. I just was like making an observation. She goes, yeah, it's because it's the middle of the month. And I go, what the hell's the middle of the month have to do with being busy at 3 p.m. at Burger King? And she goes, let me just say this. A lot of people got their checks. And I went, come on. I go, oh, really?
Yeah, well, you got prosperity issues, Ken.
So
you've escaped that world.
I know, but that's what I'm like. I'm not. And again, I'm not judging for the what you said, somebody that's an invalid, somebody that's really, really down. But man, we have got to stop with the handouts as a country, man. We just do. I don't know. We could go down a deep, dark
but this is good, and you're getting a lot of group participation here. I think we ought to go down it a little bit more.
Serena says checks are in. Right. It's crazy to me. Go mow a freaking yard. Go learn how to sell. Improve your sales skills. Go earn a living. I don't get it, man. It's like the dude that's out on social media blasting me, saying that I need to get some humility and all this other shit because I said, look, you know what? You can live by excuses. I've been there, man. I've made the excuses. I've lived by the excuses, and they're all a bunch of crap. And hopefully before you die, you wake up and realize I'm living my life on this autopilot thing filled with a bunch of bullshit excuses. Pardon my language, but that's the way I feel. And then the dude goes out, and I didn't even say it that angrily.
You okay?
I'm just tired of crap, man. Take responsibility, personal responsibility, man. It's not the government's fault. It's not Trump's fault. It's not Obama's fault. I have horribly bad news for everybody watching. It is not the government's fault. I don't give a flippin' shit if old what's his name is elected or old what's his name is elected or what's her name gets it. Doesn't matter. It's not going to impact your life unless you allow it right here. Take personal responsibility for your freaking life and stop with the BS excuses, period.
Well, I think for those who are more self-reliant, what's going on in government is less of an issue. I'm not saying it's unimportant, but we're the ones living our lives. Right. What I can't help but notice, and I'm not anti-government, but what I can't help but notice is that my checks, there's a lot of money that disappears from my checks, lot of money that goes to the government.
Right.
And when I need their help, I don't see that happening. No. I think here's a great demonstration of this with regard to casinos. Have you noticed this? just to show you how messed up our government is. With regard to casinos, if you hit a big jackpot, and you know that I don't play slot machines. When I'm in a casino, I like to play craps or some blackjack, but I don't play slots. I'd rather eat broken glass and mayonnaise than play a slot machine. But there are those who, was that vivid enough for you? But there are those who do enjoy slot machines, and God bless them. That's great. But here's the downside of the slot experience. If they hit a big jackpot, I mean, like a big one, like thousands and thousands of dollars, then, or even anything, I think it's over like 800. I think it's might even be
600.
Is it 600? Okay. Yeah. So let's just say they hit
I've hit it. I've hit the jackpot.
Okay. So right off the bat, you're barely done going, woo! You're barely done with that. And the government's here with their hand going, here, right? So here, give it up. Now, here's what I notice. When you go in and lose your ass, the government doesn't come knocking on your door the next day and saying, here, we'd like to help you with your loss. So it's the worst kind of relationship. It's the relationship that is ready to take from your good fortune. But when you hit a hard time, it's a little bit different. So I don't know. Fortunately, I haven't had to rely on the government for too terribly much of anything. I'm grateful to be an American. I'm grateful for our freedom. But
you know what Joan just said, I'm tired of my taxes paying for people that refuse to work. Here's the thing, man.
I couldn't agree more, Joan.
We're, I'm in no way am I an expert in this arena, but I do know that the more we continue to print money as a country, as a government continues to
as a solution, you mean?
Trillions of dollars.
Yes.
Trillions of dollars that we're just printing and handing out to people because of some whatever, but like that drives the value of the dollar so far down that there's no, I mean, the dollar's no longer backed by gold. So what's it backed by? It's backed by some woo-woo foo-foo stuff out there. What's it backed by? I'll tell you what it's backed by. It's backed by China. And we're sitting here like, anyway, all of this crap, just take responsibility for your life. Because here's the thing. What if shit hits the fan and you have to...
What do you mean if it hits the fan?
No. I'm talking about really hits it where there is no more jobs. There's no more anything.
Right.
The zombie apocalypse is here. And I'm being a little bit over dramatic. But what if it gets really bad and you got to freaking figure out how to eat? And there is no grocery store. You got to figure out how to eat. Are you gonna blame your neighbors because you can't eat? Are you gonna are you gonna instantly have?
You and I both know what you're gonna do. You're gonna figure it out.
You got to become self-sustaining. You've got to figure out how to operate a firearm if that's what's going to be necessary to go hunt and track down a deer and feed your family or whatever it is. I'm just saying, like, where do we draw the line, man? When do we stop blaming the government, blaming Trump, blaming Biden, blaming this person? Like, we're allowing all of these politicians to stay in office for 50 years and not do shit as far as policies are concerned. We're allowing these people to do this crap, and then we sit back and blame them. Dude, you voted for them. You can't blame them. Blame you. Blame you.
I just want to check real quickly. Do you have a blood pressure machine there?
I do. My Apple Watch. It would be alerting me if I was having a heart attack.
Okay. Just want to check.
Dude, I'm
giving you an amen on all of this. Several people have said amen. People are saying hashtag truth. Hashtag, let me read some of these. Hashtag Ken's a genius. Hashtag Ken for president. Hashtag I love Ken and only Ken. That one's a little insulting. But Joe Ingram said something earlier.
Go to Walmart, put all the treadmills outside the doors so the zombies keep walking and never get it.
Then you have everything you need inside. Well, he said something earlier. Hi, Joe. By the way, we love you, brother.
Joe, how you doing, brother?
Joe said something about I'm scrolling up here. He was talking about a hand up, not a handout. Here.
Yes.
You know,
I've had help. I mean, I've had help. We've all had help in life. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You've got to learn to ask for help. But when it's like, I've got to get up in the morning and drive to Michigan, not just like the border of Michigan, but pretty far into Michigan to visit a client on a Saturday. And I have dealt with people all over the world that think, well, 40 hours and we're done, man. We're good. I put my 40 hours in. I even put in a little bit of overtime this week and worked 43 hours. I'm like, yeah, I remember when I had a part-time job. What the hell's 43 hours? That's not a full-time job. That's a part-time job. Just so you know, for the record, if you want to make it in life, 45 hours is a part-time job. It is, man. Where did this whole concept of 40-hour, where did that come from? Was that, again, another industrial programming thing from the 30s and 40s and 50s, and when they were programming the world to be good little factory employees and do your job?
Right. This is where you and I may be a little different, and we've always be willing to air out our differences.
Let's go, dude. Gloves are off tonight. Let's roll.
Right. So here is what and I'm with you. However, this is if your life isn't working. If your life isn't working, there's no limit to what you may need to do in order to get it on course. However,
right.
I had the thought as you were saying this, that it may not be about the number of hours, but rather where the hours occur, where they spent, meaning the law of proximity. So for example, and I do not, let's say you're working for an ice cream shop. You with me on this? I won't name a brand name here, but just an ice cream store.
Baskin and Robbins.
Well, I was trying to not say it, but
let's do.
The reason is I don't want anyone here to take offense or to think they're being outed. So it doesn't have to be an ice cream store. It can be any kind of part-time job where you're being paid minimum wage for slave labor, basically. And here's the thing: there is a champion in you that is awakening. So, for example, had I not positioned myself in life, and I can only speak from my experience, everything else is theory, but regarding my own life, it's not a theory. I've lived it. I've proved I understand this. So, and I didn't say Ben and Jerry's, Joe. But in the matter of my own life, I assessed a very long time ago what I thought I was really good at. And then that's what I targeted. Because of that, I had a job this week, and I'm not being boastful. I'm sharing an experience. I had a job this week where I went in to a sound studio and stood in front of a microphone to do work on the film that I did with Denzel Washington last year that will be out in 2021. And are you still there, Ken? I just want to make sure. It just got quiet. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
So I went up to the microphone and they showed me the film. I looked, because I'm looking at the scene that I'm working on. And what I saw as I watched the scene with Denzel played back, before I ever did the voice, because they were adding a line into it that they needed to do off camera, which is standard. They do this in every film there is. And I'll promise you, Denzel went in as well.
But not in Dallas.
Not in Dallas. But I'm saying that Denzel would have gone in at Warner Brothers in Los Angeles or wherever he was from. The thing about voice recording, you don't have to be in the studio there physically because your voice is there.
Right.
And meanwhile, while I'm recording in Dallas, they are watching what we're doing on screen and listening to it in what they call a phone patch, so that basically I am at Warner Brothers with the director and with the sound mixers. I'm there because all they need is my voice.
Wow.
And as they're playing the film back, I can't help but realize that I'm being paid today to do something that I decided to do 50 years ago.
Wow.
50 years ago, when I decided I'm in love with theater and I want to take this thing the distance. And I decided that when I was 11. And by the time I was 15, I was on course. Now, I understand not everyone is crystal clear at that early an age. I get this. So I'm not talking out of my butt. I do know what I'm talking about, and I certainly don't lack compassion. But I'm a strong motivator in life. And I believe that usually if we haven't discovered what it is we do best, simply put, we're not having enough conversations between us and us. We're not having enough of those conversations. And when we have those conversations and we really decide to practice unity, I've got a weird thing happening with my fan right now, which may mean the computer's getting ready to tank. But the reason I moved it is I've noticed that do you have a solution for that? What does that mean when all of a sudden the fan underneath it is making?
Has it ever tanked before?
Do you hear that sound that I'm hearing?
No, it's because it's just cooling itself off.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Man, it sounds like a racetrack underneath my computer. So anyway, I want to stay on this because I think this is
Apples don't really do that. But go ahead.
Yet another pitch. Yet another pitch. So I really think I'm onto something here that can help a lot of people tonight. This is not self-indulgence. This is not for me to hear the Philharmonic sounds of my own voice, Ken. I really have helping people in mind. So you have that conversation with self, no matter what age you're at, and you assess, what are my gifts? You don't assess it by saying who's hiring, because who's hiring isn't satisfying your soul's gift. That's just getting a paycheck. So, Roxy says it's the fire I set before. Yeah. It's the smoke alarm of my computer that's going off. No, but so I set my mind on a destination, and then life began supporting that destination.
Right.
And by 15, I had a phone call that got me involved with doing television commercials, and I liked that a lot. And then 6 months into it, a feature film came, and I wound up doing the lead in a film and decided, I think Los Angeles awaits me. So each thing was stacking upon the previous thing. Right. And it all started with thought. Then an experience was had. I loved the experience. So I added the next building block to that. This is exactly how Will Smith expressed to me privately one day. He had assembled his life. He said, Glenn, I don't build walls. I lay bricks. And I lay one well-placed brick a day down. And the next day, all I do is go in, pick up where I left off, place another brick next to that, and level. And that's my day's work. And you know what happens? In a short time, I look down and I've got a wall, and it's beautiful. But I never set out to build a wall. My commitment was to put down a well-placed brick. I love that expression, a well-placed brick. Zig Ziglar said he never wrote a book. He said he never wrote a book. He said, what I did is every day I wrote down a couple of pages, like 3 pages approximately. I just kept writing down pages of thoughts. And he said, about every 6 months, a publisher would call me and say, you've got a book now. You've got a book. So he didn't set out to write a book. He set out to incrementalize his life and write down these thoughts. And before he knew it, he had assembled something that was much greater than just a couple of pages of thoughts. So my point is this: stop and think, utilize your time wisely. Take time to just check in with you and think, what do I excel at? No matter what it is. And it can be anything under the sun. I'm really good at this. And then you begin, yes, I love this, day by day, grow an empire. So you set on course to satisfy the world by the law of what I call proper placement. And then what happens is, once you start gaining some momentum, the salaries can then pole vault beyond what you used to make by working your ass off for many, many hours. Now, the bottom line is you got to do what it takes. You got to do whatever it takes. But what I'm saying is, if you play the game wisely, there can be an element of ease that returns to your life. And what I would liken it to, overall, what I'm talking about is this, Ken. I have a choice in life. I can change my tires with pliers, or I can change them with an air wrench. And I'll promise you, I'd rather change them with an air wrench.
Amen.
Because I don't feel like getting bloody knuckles, but I'm willing to do what I have to do. So it could be what we're going to call the law of proper placement. I would ask you to ask yourself, are you placed well? Have you been very precise in how you placed yourself in the workforce? How have you placed yourself in your relationships? How have you placed yourself with regard to the discipline of taking care of your body? Are you a good steward? And that's all I'm saying is it may not be governed entirely by the number of hours, but it may be governed by the amount of time you spend in your head and heart and getting them to coexist with one another in a way that provides you with a solution that says, here is your best path. Go do it, and the rewards will come.
So I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, no, I wasn't disagreeing with you.
Well, you said we might have a different take, and I don't think we do.
Yeah, but that's not a disagreement. That's just a different take.
But we have the same take.
Okay.
I promise.
All right.
Because here, let me ask you a question. Now, the way that you answer this question will tell me if we're on the same page or not.
Okay.
When you're on a movie set, which you just were recently, you just shot the film with John Schneider.
Right.
And when you're on a movie set, and I never have been on one, but you've explained a lot.
That's a very short-lived truth for you, my friend.
Okay.
You will be on one, and it will happen. It'll happen within the next 6 months. How about that? Okay, I just gave you a timeline. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but I've never been on one and partaken in acting. So, but if you have, all these lines that you have to know, and then you have to go out and film, and and when I say when I'm talking about the 40-hour thing, I'm talking about a mindset, a mindset that you were given by somebody else or some whatever. So when you're on this set and you're say you're 60% through your lines, but 8 hours has played out. If you go any longer than 8 hours, that means for the week, you will now be over 40 hours. Do you look at the director or whoever's on set in charge of all that and go, hey, no more. We got to stop. I'm done for the
that's
week.
a great way to become a former employee.
Right. That's my point. So, my point is, if you want to excel, you really want to, because look, today, somebody, I forget, something happened. I'm like, oh my God, it's Friday. I didn't even know it was Friday. I can't believe I didn't know it was Friday because so many people put these things on Facebook. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. How about thank God I'm free instead of thank God it's Friday?
Yeah.
Don't you want to be free?
Right. But how about TGIF on a daily basis?
Right.
How about TGIF on Monday morning? Thank God I'm free.
That's it, man. I lose track of days all the time because I don't count my hours. I don't track that. When I want to get up from my desk and go out and throw the football with my little girl or play or do whatever, guess what? I do.
Right.
I've told you before, hey, dude, I got to go hang out with Abigail for a little bit or whatever. So you have to desire freedom. That's what you have
at an elevated level.
An elevated level.
Even I'm going to take it a step further, Ken. I agree with you, and I'm so this is a yes and. I think it's stronger than desire. I think you have to have an insistence.
Yes, I
think
agree.
It has to move from desire to an insistence. And the closer you inch toward death, you're going, wait a minute. I'm not going to sell my whole life away to be a part of a workforce and then die. Like, what kind of visit to Earth was that?
Right.
I mean, really, is get up, go work for somebody else, do it your whole life, and then croak. And then you're not even around to get the watch. Maybe they give it to your widow.
Yeah.
But the idea is at some point, death has to occur to you to get with the program.
Yeah.
Like, what are you dawdling for? Where every one of us are on the clock. This is a favorite expression of mine that is nothing to induce panic, but it is there to remind you that we're all just passing through, and allow that to motivate you. Don't allow it to make you afraid, but let it motivate you. Like, what mark do you want to leave on this world? Robert says, I got the watch.
Well, again, I think that, this isn't me judging. I don't think either one of us are judging.
We've never judged on this show.
No, but it's a matter of, what do you want? I can't fathom the thought, and Paul George is on here. I don't know if he's still on here or not, but I went to school with Paul, and we were really good friends, and we hung out all the time. And, I left the area that I grew up in. I left because I didn't want that. First off, I didn't want to be judged in the world by what you've talked about. You're now the butterfly. Don't judge yourself by what you did when you were a caterpillar.
That's correct.
I was a caterpillar. I was in the area that I was not a good person. I was a partier. I was insane all the time. And so I can't even go back to that area sometimes where I grew up without getting just a weird feeling in my gut. Like, gosh, this isn't, I don't know. It's just not. And so I got away from there. I got really far away from there, and I've lived all over the United States, but I needed to create a new story for myself. I needed to create a new story, because the story that I was telling myself based on where I grew up and how I grew up and what I did partying and everything else, man, that is not who I wanted to be as an adult. It's not. And so in order to change that story, you've got to sometimes, and you and I talked about this today, you got to change. What did I say? The saying is, you got to change playmates and playgrounds. And so most of the time, and this is going to sound bad, but most of the time I don't accept friend requests from people I went to high school with. I just don't, because that's part of that past that I just don't want anything to do with the past at all.
Like, well, haven't you done pretty well without them?
Yeah, I have, but
you don't need to backtrack.
But like Paul George, I've known the guy a long, long time, but I also don't want to live my life the way that I lived my life then. And I do not live my life that way. So, you've got to create, and I said, you can literally create any kind of a life that you desire, anything you desire. And when I said to Grant Cardone the other night, it's not too late, and he said, I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it is. And maybe it is.
Right.
Maybe for anybody watching this right now, maybe next Friday's your last day. You don't know. None of us know. Or maybe it's a year from now. Are you going to continue living the way that you are now?
Well, and if it were to end next Friday or today or whenever, would you be okay with shutting the books on your life?
Me?
No, I'm asking everyone to consider that. In other words, do you feel good about the contribution you made to this blue marble in the middle of space? Do you feel good about it? Do you like how you showed up? Let's do our lives in review, Ken.
Yeah.
Do you feel good about the way you showed up? Do you feel like and for whatever out of boundsness you've allowed in your own life, have you worked to heal that? Have you moved on from it? Because we've all fallen short. What did they say? Fallen short of the glory. We've all fallen short of the glory. But when you fell short of the glory, did you own your behavior? Did you do something about it? Did you make amends where you needed to? Did you make the loudest kind of apology, which is with a change in behavior? There's no more thorough or loud apology, nor better received apology than a change in one's behavior. Amen. The verbal apologies can be very empty, but if we follow them up with a demonstration of a shift in consciousness and behavior, then things can become very, very good. And what is Robert saying here?
Once I transferred to transportation, was working with the public, he's having a full-blown conversation with himself.
But that's beautiful.
I know. I love Robert.
Ken.
Huh?
Keep reading.
I had no reason to believe that it was going to end prematurely, but it did. I'm so very grateful for that. It allowed me to connect with the one that opened the door to being here.
Beautiful. Well, so here's another expression. Oh, let's read what Greg, my brother.
Unless I love this. Unless your past friends are on the same mindset and path you are,
and path, period.
You are
yes.
You are not going to accomplish your goals because you will become what you hang out with. I 1000% agree with that.
Yeah, you're talking about the law of absorption, Greg. So we do absorb our environment. That is beautifully stated. Here's a phrase, if I can throw this one out there. Ken, you and I talk a lot about phrases that we just don't support. So here's one of them I'm not a fan of. Well, that's just the way it is. No, it's not just the way it is. It's the way you've agreed it is. It's the way you've co-signed it to be. So a lot of people bail out. They just bail out early in life. They bail out of any notion of having a great life or of having whatever security they have. And they go, oh, it's just the way it is. Well, that to me is something that is said too easily with people. It doesn't have to be the way it is. Change is available. And I'm not going to say that's never true, because there are times when it's true that it's just the way it is. But I'm going to give you a guesstimation. My guesstimation is that for every person who says it's just the way it is, I will say that 90% of the time that's not true. Maybe 10% of the time it really is just the way it is. But there are things that can be done to affect change in our lives and to affect the trajectory. So, for example, there are adjustments that people can make right now that without question would begin improving their lives. There's no question. And right now, everything is based on a course heading. If you know this about looking at a compass, we're at course heading 110 degrees or whatever. And with every behavioral shift, the course setting readjusts itself. So, for example, let's say you take a random 40-year-old's eating habits, whatever they are, and their habits consist of ding-dongs and Diet Coke, and that's all they eat. Well, they are most likely, and you can't make the generalization by saying always, but most likely they are not on a course to live a long and healthy life. Most likely. The severe mathematical likelihood is that ding-dongs and Diet Coke are not going to get you there. Now, what's interesting is that same person could set down the ding-dongs and the Diet Coke, which has an approximate ending to their life based on behavioral choices. They set aside those, and the current forecast changes. The future forecast that they currently have changes. Now, all of a sudden, they're eating spinach, leafy greens. They're drinking lots more water. They've gotten rid of the Diet Coke deal as a way of life, and they're doing different things, and they're getting out and walking, and they're having exercise. They have literally rearranged their future. Does that mean they could still get hit by a car? Absolutely, it does. But they, in terms of being granted a life expectancy, they now extend their life expectancy. And this is one of the reasons why insurance companies, when you're filing for life insurance, they take a look at your friggin' habits. They want to know how you behave before they insure your ass. And it's a reasonable thing that these companies do. They want to know, based on your behavior, what is your trajectory. And in life, this is not just about health. This is career-wise absolutely the truth too. So based on your current habits of your mind and implementation, what did Pamela say about ding-dongs?
I have no idea.
Look, I'm not even against the occasional ding-dongs. It's just not a go-to dietary supplement,
Right.
If you want to have a ding-dong after dinner from time to have it and enjoy it.
Right.
It just can't be made a way of life. I love the saying, everything in moderation. Yeah. My favorite amendment to that saying is everything in moderation, including moderation.
Right.
That you should do moderation in moderation. I think it's okay to be extremist at times, but extremists all the time can burn you out. So just know that you can redirect the current compass course reading with a change in thought followed by a commitment in follow through. So you're actually going to think about the change, and then you're going to commit to affecting the change, and you can adjust the compass needle of your own future. That I will guarantee you is true. If you're headed at 180 degrees, you can change it and make that reading 155 by tomorrow morning. You can make it 130. You can make it 246. The compass is not predetermined. And if you believe in that, that's the end of the conversation for me. Because if you believe it's all mapped out in advance and you believe it's all planned in advance, then I don't understand why you're putting any effort into your life at all.
Zero.
You know, I believe we can determine our fate, Ken. I really believe that.
And we do have a request for you, but give me a minute. Nate has a request, but give me a minute. Have you heard of a guy named Morris Goodman?
No.
He's called the Miracle Man, and they had this bit in the movie The Secret. Now, I think if I share this and I show a little bit and fast forward and play a little bit,
maybe you'll avoid getting in trouble.
I think we can do that. By the way,
feel free to gamble. Go ahead. Sorry.
I disputed before, and we won. They released
about Brad Leland. About Brad Leland
and the previous one when we did the Angry American. When we did that.
Okay. So the only thing I want to caution you against, I'm fine with doing it, but just know this. I want you to remember that anytime we go to some of these shares, remember that we don't want to lose. We know when we're in the middle of an extraordinary show.
Yes.
We like to believe that all of our shows are at least good, or we wouldn't be doing it. But tonight, I think it's a little on the extraordinary side, and I think that we can be favorably affecting a lot of lives.
Let me do this then. He was in a plane crash. And
who are you referring to?
This guy, Morris Goodman.
Oh, okay.
He's known as the Miracle Man.
Okay.
He was in a plane crash, and he literally was in a full body cast. He had a tube out of his throat. That's how he was breathing. And they came in and they said he was never going to walk again, that he was going to be a quadriplegic in this bed for the rest of his life. And he says in the movie The Secret, he said there was this tiny little voice inside of me that said, no, I can't live like that. So he made him take him off the drugs, and he had this ventilator tube coming out of a trach tube, and he was forcing one tiny little breath at a time, forcing air down to his diaphragm and holding it. And he did this over and over and over and over and over, little tiny steps at a time. Mm-hmm. And eventually, and he said that he had written down on a piece of paper, because he couldn't talk, that he would walk out of that hospital, walk out by Christmas. And he kept telling himself that he could do it no matter how difficult, no matter what the setback was, he learned how to breathe. They ended up taking him off of the ventilator. He learned he went through the physical therapy. He taught his entire body how to function again. And the man walked out of the hospital. Mm-hmm. So my thing is this and you hear things like that all the time. It doesn't take a traumatic event to change your mind. It doesn't take a traumatic event to change your mind. You can have a new thought now. You can say, you know what? I'm sick. I literally had the thought, I am sick and tired of being broke. Mm-hmm. I am sick and tired of worrying about, can we pay the electric bill? I am sick and tired of my wife going to the store and wondering if we're going to have enough money for her to buy groceries. I'm sick and tired of all of these things. And so I am no longer, I'm not participating in that any longer. And so when you get to that place where you have a different that's what I'm talking about, is the conversation we're having internally. That's what it is, man. That's the conversation. If I catch myself, and I do it, I think we all do it, man. We'll have a moment where it's like, you stub your foot on the nightstand, and you're like, that freaking nightstand. And it's not the nightstand's fault, but we love to blame an inanimate object like that, or someone else, or something else, or a group, or a whatever. And man, that's what I'm talking about. Once you stop, you draw the line in the sand, and you say, this is on me. This isn't on the nightstand. This isn't on anything except for me.
Right.
My fault. And I'm going to fix this. And I'm going to have a different conversation with myself at every moment of every day.
This is why years ago, Bud, this goes back 30 years ago, I actually made a series of recordings and placed a device on all of my inanimate objects, so that if I ever stubbed my toe against them and went, damn it, the nightstand, it would talk back to me and say, hey, you're a dick. Quit blaming me.
Right.
And it's not my fault. The nightstand, I had a little recording device that would tell me it's not my fault. It's your fault. And so that's how I learned ownership of things.
Hey, this, and you remember who Nate is, right?
Sure. Yeah. That's Hyena.
Over on Twitch. So he says up here, off topic, but I built a community of 50,000 with over 20 million views, all because I built a team of content creators who play Battlefield 3 and 4.
So Nate knows that I voiced Battlefield.
He says, I think it's crazy that Glenn was in Battlefield 3.
Yeah, that was a wonderful job that we did up in Vancouver. And all I can tell you is that I was a gun for hire, no pun intended. I was, I'm an actor. I've got a job to do. This is a little more sophisticated game in that it was done motion cap style, which means motion capture. And so we went up there to film a video game in Vancouver. And it was, it was a wonderful experience. And I did that, and I did Call of Duty. But the Call of Duty games, those were voice jobs, whereas Battlefield 3 was an on-camera deal. Now,
is that where you have the cap and all the wires and all that?
You have all the dots on your face. Wow. Now, if you want to see something really cool, Ken, I mean really cool, go to YouTube right now, per Nate's comment, and go and put my name and then put Battlefield 3, and you can probably see a clip from it, and you'll see what it looks like to do motion cap of an actor. It's very cool.
Battlefield 3, all cut scenes.
Yeah, so if you put my name in Battlefield 3, there should be something.
Let me see.
Comes up, because I've seen pieces of it online.
All right, let me see if this is it. You can tell me. Let me share.
It'll be interesting to people.
Audio.
And it took us about 3 weeks to film. Yep. Here you go.
Is this it?
Yeah, and you're going to see me built like a brick you-know-what house. Do we have voice?
Yeah, audio's on.
Yeah, so watch this, guys.
That better? Yeah. Who are you?
Yeah, this is one of the scenes.
Good morning, Sergeant Blackburn. You're going to tell me what's going on.
Look at this chest.
Ago, I get a call from Homeland Security.
Wow.
There's a Marine in detention I need to talk to. Some story about a terror plot in New York, and the Marine claims he has information to stop it. Now, the best part is he says it's going to happen today. So here we are. You look jet lagged. And by that, I mean you look like shit. Who is this?
That's him. That's Solomon.
And you still believe he's planning an attack here in New York?
Don't you?
Why?
Because he said so.
I read the file. He's trying to save his own ass. He doesn't know what we want to know.
Wait, just hear me out. You want to bury me after? Go ahead.
We don't need to bury you. You're already dead. He doesn't know what we want to know.
We're on the clock. I'm pursuing this lead. What you're going to do is help us clarify the attack scenario. Your cooperation might even get you free of the world of crap you currently inhabit. All you have to do, Sergeant Blackburn, is fill in the blanks. Are we clear? When did you first hear about Solomon and the PLR?
Let's just watch it through the end of the clip, Ken. It's really good.
Months ago. Operation Swordbreaker.
Okay.
Rocky Curtis there.
Okay. I'm listening.
All right, you claim you're knocked out after the earthquake.
Yes, sir.
Don't bother calling me sir. It's not going to matter.
Because you're going to torture me anyway?
We don't work that way anymore. Now you just go to the darkest corner of the room.
Great.
Are you still in
How long
this?
were you unconscious?
Oh.
On set when I came to. There was a broadcast.
Were you out for 6 hours? 8? It's important.
Is that a train?
Try to focus on the question, please.
It doesn't
I was
last
still
much longer, but
shaky
it's
as
just
hell when
really
I
well
came
done.
out, so I don't know. It was dark.
Hold yourself out. We're buried.
I did see something.
You just said it was dark and you were groggy.
Are you trying to get a rise out of me?
We're just along for the ride, Sergeant Blackburn. You're driving for now.
If you say so.
So it was dark and you were groggy. You saw something after the quake. What was it?
This is
Well,
probably the last.
Facial expression.
Stop me if this is incorrect. Farouk al-Bashir and the PLR.
Yeah, this is the
found
end of the
Iran
clip,
almost
I think.
The same day as the earthquake. They become a threat. A few weeks later, we send in 50,000 Marines to take them out. We go to war in Iran.
Is this a history lesson?
What part did you play in going after al-Bashir?
That's a broad question.
Well, then I will narrow it down. Your first mission.
Initially, our role was to do BDA after airstrikes in the northern quarter of Tehran.
Battle damage assessment. Why were you doing that?
It was procedure. We were looking for a high-value target Fast Air was supposed to hit.
So far as I can tell, you don't have a great history of following procedure.
Tell me about your interaction with Lieutenant Colby Hawkins. She was an F-18 pilot.
She? Don't know her.
As you went in, she took part in an airstrike on al-Bashir.
That's good enough, Ken.
Dude, that is freaking awesome.
And
man.
it's pretty trippy, isn't it?
That's a trip.
I mean, it's trippy to see your own image as a character in a video game.
That's crazy, dude.
You know, and they beef up certain things, but it's still very much you.
Look, he's recorded over 6 terabytes of gaming footage, edited over 2,000 plus videos of Battlefield. Wow.
Wow.
Look, being in Battlefield makes you a gaming legend, dude.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. We had a mighty good time doing it, and I was working with a very committed group of actors, and we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it, and I personally am a fan of people who work with it. You're welcome. Thank you, Ken. I enjoy working with anyone who approaches a task implementing an elevated bar.
Yeah.
You know, an elevated bar. And if you don't have an elevated bar, I'm not going to be good company, because I don't do anything in my life unless it's going to have an elevated bar to it. And it very much did. The writing, the directing, the actors, it was wonderful.
That's amazing, dude. That's amazing.
So you need to get some sleep, buddy. You got to drive to Michigan tomorrow.
Yes. Look, I was going to bed an hour ago. However, I'm glad I stayed up, even though, wow. Mo, it's so nice to meet you. Thanks for being on with us.
So Mo, how far will you be from me when I'm in Wales?
She
and
said she'll see you in Wales earlier.
Yeah, I know she did, but I mean, how far a train ride or a car drive is that for you, darling?
Where does Mo live?
I'm curious. I believe Mo's home now is sort of southwestern England. I'm pretty sure that's right. Hello, Tom. Tom was with us last night.
Yeah. Hey,
Nice
Tom.
to see you, Tom, and I really enjoyed your share
Yeah.
last night. We're very much on the same page, brother. Very much.
Oh, there's Leanne. Hey, Leanne.
Hello, Leanne. We love Leanne. Always chiming in. It's always a wonderful thought-provoking time spent with you both. Nice. It's always a wonderful thought-provoking time spent with you both.
That is
Greg Parton, we love you too, brother. Pamela, what does Pam say? I actually got to go to dinner with a friend, but happy I caught you two for a moment.
Thanks
Cool.
for being on.
Yeah, let's get you tucked in bed, Ken, so you can have a safe, well-rested drive to Michigan tomorrow. I've had a good time.
Yeah, this has been fun. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being on, sharing this out as always, man. We would, I don't know if we would, I guess we would be here if people didn't show up, but man,
Yeah, it would just be called a Zoom call between you and me.
yeah, right.
Hey, there's Susan.
Hey, Susan, putting in grades at the same time. Oh, that's nice.
Nice. I hope you had a beautiful week, sweetheart. And hey, Ken and I will be back along with our cohort, Scott McCain, on Sunday evening with the Ken and Glenn show with the guy named Scott. We're on at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 p.m. Pacific. You know, it's unfortunately we tend to leave Mountain Time out, and that's not fair to Doug Wing. So we're starting at 6 p.m. Mountain Time every Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Oh, Gabby's here with us.
Yes.
She said, I've been cleaning. That's cool.
Thank you, Joan. I will. And we will see you guys all on Sunday evening.
Are you making it all the way up to the Upper Peninsula, or are you not going quite that far?
No. I'm going to about the middle.
Okay.
Middle.
And are you coming? How long are you up there?
I'm up there for a few hours.
Oh, so you're doing a turnaround trip.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, be safe on the road, and sounds like I won't get to speak with you tomorrow, but I will see you on.
Oh, I'll
Sunday
call you on my drive to or from. But
cool.
yeah.
All right. We love you guys. Thank you for your listening, your listenership, and your viewership, and supporting our efforts to do what we do in the world. We very much appreciate all of you.
Thank you all. Appreciate you all. We love you all. And we will see you on the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott on
out with the video, brother.
I am. You know I am.
If you haven't seen this new video, enjoy it. Ken had this made last week.
Here we go. See you guys.
Bye, guys.